you still ref now, though, don't you? You do like the seniors stuff.
Well, yes, I still ref the seniors, but I ref the 900
The
series.
900, yeah.
I retired from refing traditional snooker last year
Right.
because there was only one seniors traditional snooker. I'm calling it traditional snooker because the other one or the other version is a 900. Um,
Yeah.
and because there was only one event a year, I didn't feel I was sharp enough because the rules are quite intense with snooker. So only refing once a year, I felt as if I was putting myself under such pressure to know them all and be on top of them all because I wasn't refing it enough. So I wasn't enjoying it, and then I'm like, well, why are you doing it if you're not enjoying it? So
Mhm, mhm.
retired from that last year, but I still do the 900, which I adore.
I was going to
It's
say, do you like the
Oh, I
900?
love it. I love it. It's like nine ball. So nine ball was my thing.
Yeah.
Going back to the early matchroom days. I love the atmosphere. I love the speed and the intensity, the excitement, the buzz, and you get that with the 900. They've got 20-second shot clock. They've got to hit a cushion. It can change. Suddenly somebody could miss or foul. It's ball in hand. I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
love it. Absolutely love it. So I still do
Yeah.
that.
He's pretty good. Like I was at the event that Ronnie played in China, the Chinese 8 ball event,
Right.
and he was talking about it, and he was saying like, look, you know that you're out the door at 9 o'clock at night, and because there's a time schedule to everything.
Yeah.
You can sort of plan your evening on. I know I'm going to be doing that. Where, for example, you go and play a best of 11 at snooker, it could be an hour, it could be 5 hours.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Whereas you're playing a best of 9 and it's going to take you an hour and a half, for example, or whatever it takes.
Yeah. It can't
And
be any more than that because you've only
yeah,
got a maximum of 9 frames
yeah,
and they're basically 15 minutes long. So
yeah,
it's not even finishing.
yeah,
It's just finishing after 15 minutes end of.
yeah,
So you can, it's all sort of perfectly timed. It's such an exciting format. I really do love it. I wouldn't retire from that because I do still enjoy refereeing. Just the traditional snooker, I was putting myself under too much pressure.
yeah.
Whereas this game is, yeah, I love it. Yeah.
So, who was the funniest player that you ever officiated?
Oh, the two of them, the two, especially if you get the two of them together. I've always found Mark Allen and Mark Selby hilarious. But if you get the two of them in a match together, it's comedy. It's flipping comedy gold, honestly. They're so laid back, the pair of them.
Yeah,
Well, when you get to the intense bit, maybe not so much so, but
yeah.
before you get to that stage, yeah, absolutely, they can be a laugh a minute.
Were there any players that I know you spoke about Ebden? Was there any other players that you would say were particularly like awkward to ref for?
Well, you've got to, Ronnie's in there, but with reason, because he can play so well with both hands. So,
Yeah,
see, at the beginning of a game, as a ref, I'm like, right, okay, I've got a right hand player, I've got a left hand player, I've got two rights, I've got two lefts, whatever. You know where you need to stand. You know where the danger situation is. And when you're going round behind them, as they've potted a ball, you're like, right, okay, so they're now going for that ball, right? They're going to queue over that ball. I need to be over there.
yeah,
Ronnie then just gets up and flips over the hand, goes the other way, and all of a sudden you're in the wrong place.
yeah,
And you're like, oh my God, and you're needing to be around there or whatever. So you don't settle the same with Ronnie because you can't. Because you don't know when he's going to throw one in or go, change his arm or play an unorthodox shot because he's pretty good at doing that as well.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, you can't settle with him. In his early days, in my early days, he before he was with Steve Peterson or maybe kind of around that time, he was also challenging because you didn't know what Ronnie was coming out as well. But he's he's matured and he's more in control of sort of his mental state and his emotions now, which is good because you could go out into a match with one Ronnie and halfway through it you could end up with another. So he's
yeah,
always been a bit of a challenge, but more so because of his speed and
Yeah,
because he's switches hands. Which,
yeah, because
especially if he's being fast when he's doing that as well, you're like, oh my god.
yeah, because you've sort of got to be like the general rule is if you're not seen and you've not no okay no one talks about you or sees you,
Yeah,
you've done a proper job.
absolutely. Yeah,
And that's obviously, like you say, with people probably that don't play wouldn't understand where you mean by like a dead spot. You really want to be on the back of everyone's shoulder, don't you? Right behind the player every
exactly.
time they play, and
Behind their queuing arm,
yeah,
realistically, because that's the one. The other one's not going on the table. That's the one that's
yeah,
going on the table. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, which is fine, except he has two queuing arms, so it makes it a little bit more challenging.
Thanks for watching so far. If you're liking this episode, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Is there a match that really sticks with you throughout, like from now you've retired? Would you ever like to go back to one situation out of all of them matches you've ever done
To
and said,
to
I'd
do it
love to
again,
walk out and ref that match again?
my first world final. Absolutely. I don't know if you remember. The MC was a gentleman called Alan Hughes back then, and this going back to the Crucible in those days, they had this pink curtain that somebody stood behind and pulled the wee string and the wee
Right,
curtain
okay.
opened. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
you need to look for an old video of that. Honestly, this was how technology was in those days. And before I went out for the final, so you're the referee's introduced first, and I'm standing behind the pink curtain, and Alan's on the floor starting his introductions, and he says, "We're creating a bit of history here today," and said the word "she." So for now, for anybody that in that those 1,000 people that weren't aware that I was going to be doing the final, now that they knew, and I could, oh, honestly, the hairs are standing up on the back of my neck. The buzz that went around the place, I could hear it. If I could bottle it up, I could sell it. Honestly, it was incredible. And then walking out to that reception was just amazing. Everything about that final was amazing. And if I ever had to do any match again, I wouldn't want it to be any different, but I would like to go back and do that final again.
So if there was a match that you could say you wish someone was standing in your shoes, it would be that situation.
Yeah, if that to give them the absolute best definitely
Yeah.
would be to have that moment. Yeah, not just the moment, the match. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure Sean wouldn't be happy with it because he didn't win it, but yeah. I had my mum and dad there for the first time. Mum had been before. My dad came for the first time. He'd never watched me reffing live snooker. Had Ross, obviously had Morgan. Preston was at a hotel, don't know anything about it. But yeah, it was just everything about it was incredible.
Have you ever like made a mistake in a match that's changed the match?
Um,
Or can you remember ever making a mistake and then thinking, I made a mistake there, but you can't then change your mind because then you look weak?
well,
Or I don't know if weak's the right word, but you know when you
I
sort of when
I
you say a foul,
yeah,
the refs now sort of stand on it and say, final decision, refs. You know,
yeah.
is there ever been a moment where you've done it and you've gone, oh no, that wasn't a foul, or I made a
Oh,
mistake there?
so the couple of situations that you're going to get like that, especially with the snooker rules the way they are, is the foul and the miss, because you can have a look at that and then you deem in your head he needs to hit it or whatever decision you've made. Now this is going back a few years because now everybody just calls a miss. So it does not because the rules say so, but it just appears to be that everybody seems to call a miss. So you end up you've called the miss and the player has been so close, but you've called the miss. Now you're not wrong, but you're also only supposed to call it if you don't think that they have made a good enough attempt. And of course then they make another attempt and they're further away. And they keep making attempts and they're further away. And you are like, I mean, it comes down to a frame. I don't suppose I could say it, that I'm not sure that I could ever say a match has been because of it, that I can remember anyway. But definitely there has been moments when a player has lost a frame because the other player has just kept putting them back in, whereas that first shot should have been deemed as good enough. But that's probably you don't I didn't know that. If he's got that close, surely he could have also hit it. But you make the call, and then you've just got to die by the sword, I suppose, or whatever the saying is.
Yeah, there's like a sort of grey area, I think, with the foul and the miss rule.
Yeah,
Because, like you say that there, I know you're talking a professional standard, and if they're coming off like 4 or 5 cushions to get on rest on the ball, they could play an easier shot.
yeah.
Because so it's got to be a miss because they could play an easier shot. But what about if it's one ball left
Well, this
and
was the one that I'm kind of picturing was,
and
but
and like, but realistically, are they trying to miss it?
you think that, and then after he's missed it for about 6 or 7 times, and it gets to the point where he needs snookers, and then you can't
You,
call it anymore, you realise that actually I should have, yeah, I shouldn't have called that one to begin with. But I didn't realise that. I didn't know that at that time.
I
And
suppose
at the
that's
end of the
something
day,
that's
I suppose the way that you look at it is if that player's put him back in, then be it on his head because he has obviously thought that he should have hit it as well.
yeah,
Because there has been times when a player's got up and not taken it, and you're like, well, for whatever reason, thank you for that.
yeah.
That you've not made it happen again. Maybe they didn't think it was the right call, but I don't know. But that particular one he did and just kept taking the points.
Do you think that rule should be changed or not? Do you think they should be allowed, for example, 3 goes at it? I know it's hard because on the fourth go or third go, they could make a right meal of it and put it somewhere that's safe. So
Yeah,
then they,
yeah. I suppose as I kind of like the idea of that rule, but because I think what's happened, it feels like that particular rule has progressed to it just about always being called now. You
yeah,
do get that the occasional shot when you can maybe see that's an impossible snooker, but they're not. It's not a black and white thing on snooker because the balls are never in the same place, so it's not like something you can learn and go,
mm,
oh, that's that shot. Yes, we know he can't hit that shot. Do you know what I mean? They're all in different places. So and what they do now is they seem to just call it all the time. Nobody uses their judgment anymore. It doesn't feel like that. So that would pretty much be a good rule, but it would need to be on the basis that it was a valid attempt, that third one, not like what you're saying where they basically put it somewhere. Or, well, nah, I don't want to see a ball in hand after a foul. I don't think that's.
I was about to say that, but the problem is with it being the traditional
Yeah,
game, they could never change a rule as big as that. I don't think. I don't think it would physically work. I think they'd have that much backlash from it that I know sometimes you say like publicity, it's all good business and stuff, but I don't think that would work.
yeah. I think that would be a stretch too far. That I think the
Yeah,
three foul rule has got some mileage in it,
yeah,
and also to move the game on as well because it can be a little staid and a little slow when you get into that situation.
yeah.
So yeah,
Because they are taking like 45 to a minute a shot because they don't know what to do.
yeah.
Then they miss it and it goes back,
And you
and
got all
miss
the
it and it
time to
goes
put it
back.
back, got to put all the, especially if there's a few balls or potentially,
Yeah.
got, that's all time consuming as well.
Have you ever had a moment where there's been like a miss, but the balls have literally gone everywhere?
Yeah, had a few of them. And
What's the thoughts behind them? Because like I get as someone from the outside looking in, it's great. It's really funny for us because we just like sort that out. But
yeah,
what is that? What do you,
you can't, you honestly, you can't get them when they go like that. If you're
mm,
fortunate enough that we've got that replay system that they've got, that's not even perfect by any stretch.
no,
But it is a guideline, and you've just got to try and
yeah,
recreate it. You're never going to get it, never
no,
get it back to how it was, because there's
no,
always a error. I'm not sure if it's that. I think it might even be up to about half a ball in the UK. I think China have got pretty good, but in the UK the system's about half a ball. that sort of could be out.
Yeah.
So if every ball's about half a ball out, it's not going to look the same.
No.
But you've just got to try as quickly as possible and recreate it as best you can with the two players, the marker if you've got one, whatever. But yeah, it's not the easiest.
In China, they have like a system that there's like an outline of the ball, and it flashes
Yeah,
until the ball's solid on it, and then obviously it doesn't flash no more. So you
it's an
can
incredible system. I think they wanted too much money, which is why it's not been brought in the UK.
really
That's what
see
I've heard.
that's quite surprising, really, when you think like how much that would benefit of any moments that would go wrong would
Yeah.
be eliminated, and then yeah. But I suppose money talks. I suppose, isn't it? Really, in that sort of sense.
Yeah, and no, somebody or nobody's obviously come up with the software over here if that's the case.
Yeah.
I mean that was when I was still with them, so that's
Yeah.
things might have changed or different reasons now, obviously.
I don't think. Well, it's definitely not on World Snooker Net. Well, as far as me watching the last event on TV,
No,
but
I've
I do
just
know that in
yeah,
China they have it, and in the Hayball they don't have that system, but they have like a freeze frame of every match. So they'll have a link, a live stream link, and every ref has got the mobile basically. So they'll just run the feed through and just pause it, and that's the table. So you
right.
can, and obviously there's only 15 balls, and because they're so like defined, you can sort of know where they are anyway. Like the brown goes there or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in general, it's been quite a good career, you'd say.
Oh, I've loved it. Absolutely loved it. I've I've literally travelled the world. And don't get me wrong, but you as a player probably get to see more of the country that you travel to than we do, because we have the travel day when we land. Maybe the day
Yeah.
after is like the media day and the opening ceremony, and then we're straight to work. You could be anywhere, but I've had some incredible experiences. In fact, there was one particular trip I'll never forget it because it was quite hilarious. It was quite a stupid thing to do. But I've refed an event in the Philippines. I've flown home to Edinburgh, which wasn't direct. I've had 4 hours sleep in my bed. I've gone back to the airport, flown to Paris to fly to Brazil for the first Brazilian Open. By the time I've got there, I had no idea what time it was. My body was trying to go to sleep when it was like 5 o'clock, and we're getting ready to go to the evening session at work. I was all over the place, but it was two incredible places to be, and I wouldn't have not wanted to have been there. But oh my God, that was a lesson in time zones that wasn't
Yeah.
it wasn't the greatest.
The amount of times, like, I remember the very first time I went to China, I went to bed at like 11 p.m. and I woke up at 11:15, and I thought it was the morning. And I was like, "Well, that was a good sleep. What time is it?" 15 minutes I was asleep.
Oh,
Having travelled for a day, that was me then. Up the whole night till the next morning.
mm-hmm.
Had breakfast, went out midday. Can't stay awake.
Yeah,
Back
yeah.
to sleep. Woke up at 10 p.m. Next thing, you're working nights again. Is that so?
Just go
It's,
and it
it's
is
so horrible.
bizarre. It's really hard. Yeah, it's the non glamorous side to the travelling.
What would be like the best country you've ever refed in outside of? I know UK is like the home of snooker, isn't it? Really,
Yeah.
as they would say. But what's the best country you've ever refed in outside of UK?
Well, I'm gonna be I'm gonna say as in my career. So as in my career, nothing will ever beat reffing Efren Reyes and Bustamante in the
In the
Philippines.
Philippines?
In the Philippines.
I bet that was some experience, wasn't it?
Oh, incredible. We're in a shopping centre and they're hanging off three high, all round, going up and down escalators just to have a view because they couldn't get anywhere to stand. It was incredible, absolutely incredible.
Yeah,
And
that would be like a Ronnie versus Hendry moment, I suppose.
probably, yeah, early doors, but with the intensity of the crowd and the noise and the atmosphere, which you don't get in
You
snooker.
don't get it snooker. There's
No,
nothing
no.
like it.
Yeah, What you get in
Yeah.
snooker is the moments of silence, which are incredible when you think
The,
how many people you've got.
it's the
Um,
tension, isn't it?
yeah, yeah, two very, very different types of atmosphere in a game. Really, really different.
Mm. I remember the very first time I went to the Crucible, and when I walked in, it just felt like it was like, "Phew, this is like it's got that sort of vibe about it that a player would feel that the public wouldn't feel.
Yeah,
They would go, "Oh, this is a really nice venue." Where I'm thinking, "That's really tight there. There's a lot of play. There's a lot of people sitting on you, and it's like so
absolutely.
confined." And I've been lucky enough to watch it as a two table and a one table as well. And the one table I feel is a fraction big.
It's a lovely big arena when you've been reffing two tables, I've got to
Yeah,
say. You suddenly feel as if you can walk all the
do it,
way round
do what you
there,
like.
all the way round there.
I could
Um,
imagine that being one of the hardest venues to ref at.
oh, 100%. Yeah. Two tables is very tight.
Yeah,
So you end up in a situation where you've got the cameras at the bulkhead, so they take
yeah,
up so much of the space, and you've not got a lot of space anyway.
no,
And then if the player's on a side, either side, you can't get round the back of them like you can
no,
any other venue. So see,
yeah,
we were talking about Ronnie, and if he switches his arm, I could be absolutely screwed in
yeah.
a
You could be basically
situation.
standing right to where his head is.
Exactly, because I can't get past him, and the only
Yeah,
way to get there is to go all the way round, and you can't
but
do
you
that.
can't physically do it.
Yeah, and so you can't see. So now you're like, is he fouling that ball? Is the camera? That camera's right there. Is that camera showing him fouling the ball, and they're giving it? The ref's not calling a foul. It's because I
Yeah,
can't get there and I
can't
can't
get there.
see. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, very. So you're out of your comfort zone when it's two tables, which puts a little bit of pressure on you because you know
mm,
it's the World Championships and you should be calling everything, obviously, but you
yeah.
physically can't get to all the places you need to be.
See, that's where like a player would understand that, but Joe Bloggs wouldn't.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
would go, "Flipping hell, how she missed that?" Where realistically, they know. Like I said, the first ever time I walked like into the main top and then down the stairs, I thought that's really tight. That is.
yeah.
Then when I think I actually watched, I watched Ding against Wembo the very first time, and I watched Robertson the second time. And Robertson, it felt really tight for him because he stands quite far off the queue,
Yeah,
and he walks into the shot quite a long way.
that's
It
right.
it, it really looked like he was butting up to the back where the public's like knees were really.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the boardings. He was like right up against that sort of thing. And it looked like
Especially
it.
on the if it's the corner shot where we're nearest to the players because that's
Yes,
quite a tight angle away from
yes,
the middle the barrier between the two.
yeah,
It's really tight. In fact, was it this year or the year before somebody took their cue back and knocked the water bottle over because
really.
it
I
was
didn't see
that
that, but yeah, I
close.
could imagine.
Yeah, it is. It's really tight. It's incredible though, and
Mm,
the thing with the two tables is the atmosphere is incredible because they're reacting on one side. You're on the other table, but they're reacting on that side, and you've got all the kind of oohs and ahs, and
yeah,
especially when they're on a
a big
maxi
shot.
anyway. Yeah, when they're on a maxi because
Yeah,
we we can look to our scorer because you start to get a vibe something's going on and you look up and then they're giving it they're on a
yeah,
maxi, so then I know that. So if you've got the opportunity to let the players know that you can do that, or they generally look to you because they can't see, and then you can tell them, and then they can choose if they're going to stop, which they generally do if that sort of
generally do.
situation
Yeah.
happens. But yeah, yeah, it's just it's building and building and building on the other table while you're, I don't know, on three or something.
Yeah. So, like, have you ever refed a maximum in
Yes, I've had a few.
how many have you done?
Yeah, good question. You could tell me that.
I can't. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I haven't got a clue.
Any at the Crucible?
Never. I never had one at the Crucible. That was probably one of my disappointing moments in my career was I never had one there. I had my first 147 at the Masters and it was Ding and it was his
Brilliant.
ranking event 147 as well. So
Brilliant.
that was really
Yeah.
lovely. Oh, and I tell you probably my other, because that's obviously really memorable. So I'm not sure how many I've ref, but I've got three that are kind of the ones that I remember. So Dings was the first one. The second one was in, I want to say Beijing. I was in China, and I'm on table 3 with Neil Robertson and somebody. I can't mind who. And I don't know if you know what it's like in China, but all the crowd are on the main table.
Table 1.
So table 3 is in like a little cube round the back, and I've got like 2 spectators, and Neil Robertson's done a 147, and we've got like
Quite.
2 people.
So all you get is like a little
Yeah, yeah.
smell.
It's like you're in your living room with these 2 people. And then the other one that I'll never forget is I was doing the Shanghai Masters final in Shanghai, obviously, and I've got John Higgins and Judd Trump. Now at the end of
Nice.
the first session, Judd's 7-2 up, first to, I can't remember. We'll assume
Probably
it's 10.
10.
I think it was 10 actually. And I've gone out in the evening, and my ritual is I have a can of Red Bull before every session, and it could be sugar free, but I have to have a can of Red Bull. It's like my preparation. It's like what I have to do to get myself in the zone. I've got to have that so that mentally I feel as if I'm on my game. I've turned up for this final with 2, and I can't remember who said to me, well, it might have been my marker. Well, what you got 2 for? And it's like, never count out John Higgins. You never count out John Higgins. We've gone 9-9. I think I could be making this up. This could be how it's manifested in my head. But
The Red Bull's kicking in.
I know we're the 2 of them. We're up at either this is for him to get to 9. The match went 10-9 anyway. He's on a 147. He's on the black. He's potted the pink. He's on the black going over there. The cameraman over there is giving it like this. He's all excited. And John's had to get off a shot and go, you have a word? And I've gone, excuse me. The guy's taken one look at me and basically dive bombed and thrown himself under the barrier. Everybody's laughing. John's laughing. The guy stayed there. He's got down and he's potted the black for a 147. It's absolutely...
Luckily for that guy.
Oh God, yeah. How to change it? Well, maybe not necessarily a match, but yeah. So he had a 147. It couldn't have possibly been to have won it. That would be far too much of a wonder story, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I would definitely have known that. I
Yeah.
think
And
I'd have thought I would.
I'll Google it. But it was definitely happened. It was definitely in that match, and he was definitely 7-2 down.
Yeah. To be fair, Higgins was like one of my growing up. He was my mum's favourite player.
Right.
My mum was Scottish. She loved Higgins. He could not do any wrong. It was one of them sort of, if he missed the ball, that was a kick. She was one of them sort of players. But so yeah, it was. I met him played in the same tournament as him in 2017. Like a Hayball tournament in
Right.
Shanghai, actually, in Yushan. I remember seeing him for the first time. It was a bit like flipping out. My mum's always talked about him all his life, because she'd one of them like she'd always watch the snooker,
Yeah.
whatever's on, she'd always watch it. And you have your favourites, and she was like, "Oh, is John Higgins playing? Can you ask him for a picture for me?" And that sort of thing. But
Bless.
yeah, I do really like Higgins. Do you know him quite well, being Scottish or
Well,
live?
I've got to know him obviously quite well
Yeah.
on the tour, and
Yeah.
in fact we had a really lovely moment when we had the 900 over in Dublin at Goffs
Hmm.
earlier this year. Yeah, in
Hmm.
February this year, earlier this year. And Ronnie was in it, and John Higgins, and Mark Williams, and who was the other one?
Hendry.
Yes, there was 8, I think. We had 2 Irish. Oh, it was brilliant. Anyway, so and my mum came with me. My mum likes to come, or I like to take my mum whenever I can. She loves the snooker and she loves being away. She's a social butterfly, my mum. And so I've gone down to ref and I've come back up. I think we were at the interval, which would be between 2 matches, and I've gone in to check she's okay. And my mum likes a wee wine. Well, so clearly do the other ladies. My mum sat in front of, in between Denise and Joe, Mark Williams and John's wives. the three of them are sitting drinking, not paying any attention to any snooker, giving it all girly chat. The three of them all enjoying a wee wine, and it's just so lovely because they've actually known each other for a good number of years. Because my mum's come
Mhm.
with me to events, and obviously Denise and Joe have been there, and it's so lovely when you think
Yeah,
it made me feel all warm and fuzzy because I don't have to worry about my mum in certain circumstances because
yeah.
everybody's so lovely, and they all kind of, they'll sit down and have a chat, and there's not very many standoffish people in snooker, which is nice. They're pretty normal on the
Mhm.
whole, which is good.
So you do see that, like they have that sort of persona about them that you think, oh, I can't speak to them or they won't speak to me because. But then me personally, since playing the Chinese pool stuff, a lot more of the snooker players have started to play it.
Yeah,
They're just normal guys, aren't they? Really,
absolutely.
and they're just good at what they do. And because it's so in the spotlight, snooker is on BBC, etc. That they are like more household names rather than the pool players.
Yeah,
That it's one of them where, oh, that's so and so. Whereas they just, like I say, they're just a normal person, and they just, yeah, it's quite refreshing that something like that would happen.
yeah. It was absolutely like I got a photo of them and I sent it to my mum and my family, and it was like, look at this. Flipping, I'm out there working, and these three are sitting doing the easy shift with the wine in the players' lounge. It was, yeah, just lovely, lovely event. Ronnie won that. Well, actually, Ronnie hammered John 6-0 in the final. That was incredible.
Remember it? Yeah,
It was incredible from the point of view we got to the bar early, which is always nice when an event's over. But Ronnie's just he's really he likes the 900. He gets it. He understands it. As you said, the concept works because there is
yeah,
no like I'm not going to finish till 1 in the morning and be in
yeah,
trouble with the wife
yeah,
back home or whatever. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So yeah, it's
That sort of fits him perfect, doesn't it?
yeah.
Don't have to think about it. Speed. You're done by this time. Everything just suits his game.
Yeah, absolutely. Fast, furious. He can do what
Yeah,
he does best, which is not think too much, because
yeah,
he's just so fast, so instinctive. Knows what
yeah,
he wants to do, and he probably knew that 3 shots ago. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
And off he goes. Incredible.
Do you know when you are reffing Ronnie? Does he have like when I met him in China? He did have like an aura about him. I know because I've been to the events that he's played in. That do you know when you're reffing them? Does it feel like to you that there's Ronnie's playing that session?
Oh, without a doubt. Not just because of the crowd, but he does carry that sort of sense of occasion with him, without a doubt. And because as I sort of said before, you don't walk out feeling, all right, here we go, it's another match. You never feel like that with Ronnie. So you're in a different place yourself as well. But especially with the 900, it's game on. So in the final, we came back after the interval, and I had forgotten to turn my mic back on. And the sound guy had asked the floor manager, can you say to her? And she went, are you kidding? He's got an average shot time of 10 seconds. She's not taken her eye off the table. She's not stopped moving. How on earth do you think I'm going to get to be able to say to her to turn her mic on? You'll need to wait. And they had to wait till the end of that first frame. Of course, people don't understand. They don't, unless you're physically seeing it. You don't see how he moves
Out.
and how.
No.
Yeah, yeah. How turn my mic on? Nobody's a
He
bloody
basically floats around the table, doesn't he?
unbelievable.
It's like he's not even sort of touching the carpet. He just
Yeah, it literally it's absolute. It's dancing, dancing, or it's magic to watch. Absolutely, I'm sure John didn't think so. To be fair, he could probably appreciate the genius from his seat,
of
but
course.
when you're actually getting hammered like that, you're not thinking quite so like that, I suppose.
I suppose they've played each other that many times over the years that they wouldn't. He wouldn't really be going, "Oh God, I've lost 6-0." I know it probably till from the time of shaking hands to the bar, he might be bothered. Then
Yeah,
once he's got into the bar, it'll be just like, what are you meant to do about that?
yeah.
That sort of probably.
Exactly.
So
He knows it. They're all mature enough to know that you could probably beat Ronnie sometimes 6-0, but you can also be beat very quickly by him
of course.
by the same scoreline.
So like life after snooker, then what does it look like for you now since you stopped reffing? I know it was quite some time ago, really, like 2015 ish.
Yeah.
What does life look like for you now?
Well, we started off. Ross came up with this. I want to say crazy idea, but I don't suppose it was. It's not really. It's not proven to be a crazy idea. He wanted to launch a pool table. So this was back in 2018. So it was a few years later, and we basically he went down to a factory in England, which is Optima, who'd been making pool tables for like about
Yeah.
30 years, and between them they came up with a table that we put our own brand to, which was blackball tables. And I started selling them from a bedroom in my house because I didn't have to have stock of a table. It's not something that you get sent up to you with Royal Mail or anything. And we started selling them, and that actually worked really well as a business, and it grew. The export side grew quite quickly because we managed to get them into a couple of events. So that was great. And I was selling the odd accessory with the table. I was doing it all myself because people would maybe say, "Can I get a brush?" or "I've got a table cover." So through natural progression, we started selling little bits and pieces. Then COVID happened, and everybody wanted a pool table. COVID, we were very, very blessed with COVID. There was a number of businesses, obviously, that came out of it sort of quite well, and ours was one of them from that point of view because we were selling pool tables, people wanted them. We actually launched a diner during COVID because the people that the wives, for instance, who wouldn't take a pool table in would take a pool table diner in because it was a dining table that then backed up as a pool table. So I was working 7 days a week, ridiculous hours, really stressed, really struggling because I was still on my own. And I had a chat with Morgan, who was working full time with the Bank of Scotland at the time, and suggested to him, did he want to consider coming over and being part of the business? So I put a sort of offer to him, and he did, and he jumped and he came over. And at that point, I was still only doing, some brushes and table covers and a few shorter cues and things like that. Well, then Morgan came in, and if anybody knows Morgan, Morgan likes a cue and he likes a case and he likes all the gizmos and gadgets and all the rest of it. So he's taken the business to a completely different level now, where we now sell more accessories, cues and cases and everything that goes with it than we do pool tables, which is very, very exciting. And obviously he's able to sort of split the burden with me. So we both are giving it sort of our equal amounts now. It's incredible. On-Q World's the business. It's absolutely incredible. It's still family run, and it always will be. And we love it. And we're very, very passionate about it. We're so excited about what we do that I think that comes across to our customers when they sort of do come in contact with us. And we'll continue to be like that, and hopefully continue to grow, because Morgan's constantly looking at new ideas and new things. And we moved into a shop 2 years ago because we'd been home
Yeah,
based before then, but we knew there was a limit to how we could grow. And that's been incredible because people get to come in and try the cues. So, for instance, last week we had the Sunny Akani delivery, which they don't last very long. I think they
no.
basically lasted just over 24 hours. But we had customers that came in because they could come in and try them. So they could
Mhm.
try the £2.5 cue that Ronnie plays with. Or they could try the £35 cue that we sell, because we cater to everybody.
Yeah,
And you can try anything in the shop, and that's been such a journey for us and for our customers, because you can't order something, or it's not that you can't, you can, but you don't know what it's going to feel like.
yeah. I
So
think only someone in Q Sports would understand that
yeah,
because, like, it's not like you're going to buy a fishing rod, for example, or a pair of football boots that you know what they are,
yeah,
and whereas every single piece of wood, even if it's exactly the same replica cue, can play completely different.
Exactly. And
Uh,
it's going to look different. Ash is not, ash is a natural product, especially. So you're
yeah,
never going to get two shafts that are going to be the same.
yeah,
And you know what one shaft or the chevrons that somebody's going to like, the next person's not going to like it. There'll be too many, or they're too far apart, or whatever. Everybody's so different. Or the weight balance. Different
yeah.
cue manufacturers have the weight balance at different points, different butt diameters, so many different things. But we just love it. We absolutely love it. So yeah, it's all consuming. For me, it's 7 days a week. It always will be. I try and turn off sometimes, but I think I'm addicted. It's more because I want to do it. It's not because I
Yeah.
have to do it. And that's a lovely, lovely place to
But
be.
that's like you say, that is an amazing place to be where in your life where it's something that you're gonna get up in the morning, you have your coffee and you just go, right, do some emails, gonna get to the workshop and just see what happens for the day.
Yeah, you don't know what's going to happen either.
Yeah.
You can go into the unit and think, right, I'm going to do this, this, and this today because today should be atypically quiet. And then it doesn't stop. The door just keeps opening, and
Keeps going.
you've done nothing. It's you just don't know. You know, you have your plan, but it has to be fluid,
Yeah.
basically. But it is great.
I'm gonna ask Morgan if he will come on at some point later down the line and speak about the business and stuff because obviously I've known your family for a long time
Mm.
since probably like early 2000s really. Obviously I've known of you for a long time
Yeah,
more than before you would have known me.
yeah, I
Um,
suppose, yeah, yeah.
through obviously watching the snooker and even when you said earlier about foul Jimmy White to break that the tone of that voice is what stands out the most.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? You've got that sort of it's like an iconic voice that I could have my eyes shut and I'd go, that was Michaela. You just know it where some people speak and they don't speak properly or they're not loud enough or but you've got that sort of authority in your voice that comes out and that's when you said it earlier on when McKenna potted the cue ball off the break and you said foul Jimmy White to break. It made me think then I wanted to say it then but I don't know why it's come full circle to come back to now but yeah I'm going to ask Morgan to come on and speak about the business and see his thoughts on it I suppose as well.
Yeah, his will be he probably comes at it from a different place because of his
Yeah,
passion for the cues and the cases,
yeah,
whereas mine's is more the full business picture because I've
yeah.
got to look at everything. And in fact, we had an order that we were placing with one of our Thai companies, and we're like, why are we always out of stock of these? Or not out of stock, but low stock. And he went, because you won't let me order what I want to order. Because obviously the value, I was
Of
like, right,
course, yeah,
okay, just go and put your order in. And then he came
yeah.
back and he went, right, okay, okay, right, we need to pay half of the deposit now. I was like, right, okay, we need 20 grand. I'm like, Jesus Christ, Mark. But it's incredible because they
Good to
move
go.
constant, and you'd rather
Yeah,
have stock than not have it.
yeah,
But yeah, it's just constantly growing, and yeah, it's that's his thing. I'm I still am the pool tables, but not as much. So we're all kind of a little bit rounded. But yeah, he would probably enjoy that. He likes talking about the things that he's passionate about as well. So
yeah. It's good because obviously he come from banking, didn't he? And obviously he took the risk of that's pretty like a solid career,
yeah,
and he took the risk of coming to work with you and opening the shop and stuff. And yeah, it'd be pretty good to,
it's been yeah.
to
We had our moments early doors because I don't think he wasn't used to being. He was used to being an employee, and when you've got your own business, you need to work more than 9 to 5, and that basically he was turning up at 9.
clocking in and clocking out.
Basically, yeah. It took a couple of years for him to appreciate that the business needs, especially Q Sports, because
Yeah,
the people start asking questions in Q Sports in the evening because they're out playing,
yeah.
which is when we're basically we've clocked off.
Switching
So,
off.
yeah, absolutely. You've got all that to come into the next day. I mean, I forgot to actually turn the WhatsApp off, and I've been sitting watching these messages flicking up on WhatsApp. I'm not going to go on to them tonight. I've had enough today, but that will be all there to be dealt with tomorrow morning. Whatever they want. I mean, we'd like to be responsive, but you've also
Yeah,
got his playing career you can talk about, so that it would be different. It would be a
of
different
course. Yeah, yeah,
different
yeah,
podcast.
yeah. What would people most be surprised to learn about you?
Well, I don't really know. I was thinking about this earlier in the shower, because I was like, what have I not told people? And there's probably not a lot that I've not told people. I have mentioned a few things here, though, that I hadn't realised that I've spoken about before. But I have mentioned that I'm a bit of a gamer. I've mentioned that before. I've been a Super Mario fan for as long as he's been launched. So I've been playing Super Mario for over 40 years. Massive Zelda fan, played all the Zelda games through. And the good thing for me was my kids were boys. So I didn't have to do the pretty hair ribbons and, dollies. I was on the Game Boy or the Nintendo or whatever with the boys. But at the moment, I've been playing it for years, but I've kind of got back into it recently, probably because I've been travelling about. I seem to spend quite a lot of time playing Farmville on my phone, which is pretty bloody sad. But yeah, I've got crops that I need to go and sort out after this.
So, outside of like Q sports and in general, what would you be most passionate about? Would it be gaming, or is it just
No, chilling. I really like enjoying time. We spend a lot of time with my family. So I've got a friend network, but I class my family as my friends. So we spend a lot of time with my sister and her family, and with my mum and dad. I've obviously alluded to my mum. In fact, we're going on holiday with them in September. So
no?
again, so that'll be the third time. Which is nice. I do like spending time with them, and it's nice because we've got a close family, and we're a bit like warts and all. We say it as we see it, so we're not one of these ones that has quiet feuds because nothing ever builds. Because if we're not happy with something, we just say it.
Say
It's
it.
out there, yeah. If there's an argument, it's an argument, but it's
Yeah,
the next day. You apologise or you don't, or it's forgotten about. But there's never like a big sort of. We don't have any of those big family feuds or fallouts and such isn't talking to such and such. It doesn't happen with us.
doesn't happen.
Yeah, so I do a lot of that. That's what Ross and I like to keep up with movies and sports. I tell you what, well, no, there's something that a lot of people won't know. I never thought about that. So we've already said after this, we've not seen today's Tour de France. We're both avid Tour de France watchers, so we'll be watching the highlight programme when we finish this. We got to
Right,
catch up. It was a rest day yesterday, so we're back on. We've got to see today's to be up with tomorrow.
quality. What's one lesson that referees that being a referee have you carried on to everyday life?
Probably, well, the poker face is quite a good one because you kind of, especially in the world in the shop, you kind of sometimes have to keep that poker face when some people say some things to you, what they think they know or they don't know. That's quite a good thing. Uh, but I don't know. Oh no, I tell you what is it, because so when you're a referee, everything's black and white. We alluded to that earlier, and I'm like that in life. That has to be. I don't want any of your grey crap. I've been taught. My mindset is we have truth and we have lies. We have good and we have bad. Okay, the good and the bad you can kind of have a little bit in the middle, but it's you will get the truth from me. I have to be like that. That's who I am. That's the reputation I have. So that has been carried on, and I'll always be honest. If even in the business, if something goes wrong, I'll be honest and I'll tell them it's gone wrong. No point in trying to cover it up because it'll come back and bite you in the bum. You know what I mean? So yeah, there are probably those two sides of the refereeing game part
Yeah.
carried on.
So I'm going to do like a little quick fire round,
Okay.
and then I'd finish on the one question left, and you can get off to your Tour de France.
Yeah.
So there's 10, 7, 7, 8. The toughest player to read.
Oh. 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 No, slightly different answer. It's nothing's ever quick fire with me. You should tell me to give one word answers.
No, that's
Efren
good.
Reyes.
Efren.
Efren Reyes is the only person I have ever refed that I stand behind, and you don't necessarily know what shot he's going to play, because the shot arsenal that he has got is incredible. He is the only person that I never knew, not all the time, but
Yeah, of
you could
course.
be standing there and thinking, what on earth is he doing here? What's he lining up for? It'll blow your mind. Blow your mind.
Hmm. Best walk-on music.
Oh, Delilah, Mark Williams.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Favorite venue.
Crucible.
Tea or coffee,
Coffee.
or Red
Lots
Bull.
of it. No. Coffee, gin, and Prosecco. Not in
Coffee,
that
gin.
order.
Favorite sporting event you've attended as a fan.
Oh, snooker. At the Crucible. Stephen Hendry beating Mark Williams in one of the World Finals. I don't know what it was. That was my moment before I was a ref, to feel that intensity, that you felt like you're the only person in the room, and you feel like you can't move or you can't scratch your nose because you feel like they're going to get up off their shot and go, "You're moving." Yeah.
One player you'd love to have dinner with, past or present.
Oh, I've had dinner with a lot of them, I have to be honest. Can I say one player I'd like to have dinner with again? I've had lots of dinners with them. I'd love to have dinner with John Virgo again.
Hmm. Yeah. Biggest misconception about referees.
I think that we just stand there and do nothing.
I knew you was going to say. I knew you was going to say that. So you've stood inches away from some of the sport's greatest moments, really. Would you take us behind the curtain and tell us one story the fans haven't heard before? So, like when the players have been behind the scenes, before you've about to walk out, you've obviously stood next to Ronnie, Selby, Hendry, Higgins, you name it, everyone basically that could ever play to a good level. What's one story that you could have said that the public wouldn't know?
I am not going to answer that question. The immediate one comes to mind. I am not giving you the story. I'll tell you privately. I'll not put it
Okay,
on the podcast. You
okay.
can ask me afterwards.
That's no problem. And the final question is, if you could have dinner with anybody in the world, past or present, could be sports stars, movie stars, family members, who would it be?
Oh my goodness, you like to come up with the difficult ones, don't you? Um, I actually think I would really enjoy a dinner with Martina Navratilova, because she was like one of my kind of icons with the tennis world when I was growing up. She was kind of one of the main standout ones. But I would ask if we could have Billie Jean King there as well, just to have a little sort of group get together, because they were really flying the flag for the ladies back in the day. Billie Jean's amazing. She fly, she's a supporter of so many important movements, if you like. So yeah, I'd like to have dinner with them.
Yeah, that's amazing, and I really appreciate your time. Obviously, I know it's been quite the longest one yet by a mile, but it's flown by, to be honest.
It has. It definitely has. Feel free to edit it down.
No, no, I try and keep it like as raw and uncut as I can, because it's one of the things where I get you can edit these things out, but people want to see who the nut people are in general, not cutting out the dead spots. Or I think one good bit would be though when your first ranking final.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So all in all, I appreciate your time, Michaela, and thank you very much for coming on.
You're very welcome. Very, very welcome.
I'll speak to you soon.
Okie dokie.